Have you ever stepped into a room and instantly felt the energy tilt toward you, like the air itself shifted direction? Maybe you've caught strangers staring at you in a grocery store aisle, across a waiting room, or even while you were just walking down the street. You check your clothes, you wonder if something's on your face, but deep down you know it's something else. Something harder to name, yet impossible to ignore. And honestly, you didn't find this message by accident. If you're here, it's because you felt that strange pull, that sense of being observed in ways you can't logically explain. People glance at you, pause, look again, and you're left wondering what they're seeing that you can't. This is where things get real. When someone carries a certain kind of energy, a presence that's elevated, different, awakened, others feel it before they understand it. Some people are drawn to it, others are unsettled, but almost everyone reacts to it in some way. And often, the reaction starts with a stare. Not a random one, not a meaningless one, a stare that comes from a deeper place in them, responding to a deeper place in you. That's why today we're diving into what this really means, spiritually, psychologically, energetically, and even physically. Because once you understand yourself at this level, everything starts making sense. Here's what you need to know first. When you carry a higher frequency, a spirit that's been shaped by pain, growth, awakening, and inner evolution, people around you feel that vibration even if they don't consciously know what's happening. You don't have to speak loudly, act boldly, or dress dramatically. Your presence alone does the talking. Your energy walks into the room before your body does. And this isn't some random accident. Think of your energy as something ancient, something that existed long before you showed up in this lifetime. Whether you call it intuition, spirit, inner wisdom, divine imprint, or simply emotional presence, there's a depth in you that many people don't carry. Your aura feels like truth in a world full of filters. That's why people stare. You disturb the atmosphere not because you're chaotic, but because you're clear. You walk differently, you listen differently, you sense differently, and people who have never experienced that type of presence don't know how to process it. Most people are sleepwalking through life, disconnected from themselves and overwhelmed by noise. Then you walk in, calm, aware, grounded, conscious, and their spirit wakes up a little. They might not understand it, but they feel it. This is why strangers tell you things they wouldn't normally tell anyone. This is why people come to you for guidance, even when you don't think you're doing anything special. You carry a frequency that feels safe, familiar, or revealing, depending on who's looking. Some people find comfort in your presence. Others get uncomfortable because your existence exposes the parts of them they've been avoiding. Even your silence speaks. Even your stillness has weight. And whether you want it or not, that kind of presence gets noticed. This isn't about looks, it's not about popularity, it's not about whether you're wearing the perfect outfit. It's deeper. People are responding to something they can't quite explain, something that pulls their attention like a magnet. When you have a spirit that's gone through transformation, when your heart has been broken and rebuilt, when you've learned to stand after falling, when you've carried yourself through storms most people never saw, your energy changes. You glow in ways you don't always feel. You shine in ways you don't always notice. But others notice. Others feel it immediately. Animals feel it. Children feel it. Sensitive people feel it. Even those pretending not to notice, they feel it too. Some people stare because your presence feels familiar, almost like they've met you somewhere before, not necessarily in this life. Sometimes it's a soul-level recognition, the kind that makes people pause without knowing why. Others stare because your energy challenges their comfort zone. Your confidence, quiet or loud, makes them question their own self-doubt. Your authenticity stands out in a world addicted to pretending. Your peace interrupts their anxiety. And your alignment, even when you don't feel aligned, stands out in rooms filled with people who are mentally scattered. And let's be honest, some people stare because they're inspired. You remind them of something they forgot they had inside themselves. You remind them that strength can be quiet, that power can be gentle, That presence can be soft, but still commanding. Meanwhile, others stare because they're triggered. Your very existence reveals their insecurities without you saying a word. You don't have to compete, impress, or perform. Just being you makes them confront what they're avoiding. But none of this means something is wrong with you. In fact, it's confirmation that something is profoundly right. What you carry can't be hidden, even when you try. You weren't made to blend in. You weren't made to shrink. You weren't made to walk unnoticed. You were made to shift spaces just by entering them, to bring a different feeling to the room, to remind people, consciously or subconsciously, what authenticity looks like. So the next time you catch someone staring, don't rush to doubt yourself. Don't apologize for existing. Instead, recognize what's happening. Their spirit sees something before their mind can explain it, and that alone makes you unforgettable. Your energy speaks, and people are listening, whether they realize it or not. Now that you have a clearer sense of the energy you carry, let's go deeper into what actually causes strangers to stare at you in the first place. Because whether you realize it or not, there are spiritual patterns, subconscious triggers, and energetic realities that all converge the moment you walk into a space. This isn't about random glances or meaningless curiosity. People are reacting to something about you that goes beyond physical appearance or surface-level impressions. And it's not that you're trying to stand out. If anything, you've probably spent a good portion of your life trying to blend in. Yet no matter how simple, casual, or quiet you try to be, you still draw attention. That's what happens when your presence carries depth. Light naturally pulls focus, even when the person holding that light doesn't want the spotlight. And the first spiritual reason for this is rooted in something universal. Your light exposes what others keep hidden. When someone whose spirit is awake, grounded, or aligned enters a room, the contrast becomes impossible to ignore. People who are numb, distracted, or spiritually disconnected suddenly feel something shift. They may not have the vocabulary for it, but their energy reacts instantly. Your presence feels like truth stepping into a world that's gotten comfortable with illusions. And truth always awakens. It awakens the room. It awakens the subconscious. It awakens whatever parts of people have been sleeping. Some people feel refreshed by this awakening, like a sudden breath of clarity they didn't know they needed. Others feel threatened, not because you did anything wrong, but because your presence highlights what they've been avoiding within themselves. You might remind someone of the path they abandoned, the courage they lost, or the dreams they buried. That's the thing about carrying light. You don't just illuminate a space, you illuminate people's inner worlds. And they react to that illumination in different ways. Some stare because they're drawn to your energy. Some stare because they feel exposed by it. Some stare because they feel healed by it. And some stare because something in them becomes restless or uncomfortable. But the spiritual layer goes deeper. There are people whose souls recognize something in you immediately, not with their logical mind, but with their spirit. You might remind them of someone they once knew, someone they loved, or someone who guided them long before this lifetime. Your presence feels familiar to their soul. It's like meeting someone from a forgotten dream, and because they can't logically understand why they feel that connection, they stare, they linger in your presence. They wonder where they know you from, even though you've never met. That soul-level memory resurfacing, something ancient, something intuitive, something beyond the physical plane. Others might sense the spiritual backing around you. Many people are more intuitive than they realize, and even those who don't consider themselves spiritual can feel when someone is divinely protected. Your aura doesn't just carry your personal energy. It carries the presence of every lesson, every breakthrough, every ancestor, every spiritual guide that has walked with you. And people pick up on that. Some stare because they feel an unexplainable warmth or peace around you. Others stare because they feel intimidated by the strength surrounding you. You aren't walking through life alone, and even if you can't always feel that support, others often can. Your presence doesn't arrive empty. It arrives with a sense of depth that most people don't experience every day. Let's talk about envy too, because it plays a role more often than people admit. Envy isn't always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's silent. Sometimes it shows up as glances that feel sharp or scrutinizing. When people see someone who radiates without trying, someone who carries confidence without needing attention, it can trigger insecurities, especially in those who rely on external validation, performance, or image to feel significant. Your quiet presence can feel like a threat to people whose sense of self is built on fragile foundations. They may not understand why your energy makes them uncomfortable, but they'll still stare. Their spirit knows it's witnessing something authentic, and authenticity can feel like confrontation if you're used to wearing masks. And there's another layer, one that many chosen individuals overlook. You are spiritually marked. Call it destiny, purpose, calling, mission. The label doesn't matter. The truth does. Your energy is distinct because your path is distinct. Even before people know you, they can feel that you are meant for something beyond the ordinary. That sense of difference radiates from you in ways that others can feel but not explain. Your presence has a way of pulling people's subconscious attention, like a beacon, reminding them of possibilities, truths, or depths they haven't explored. And that beacon draws eyes, it draws curiosity, it draws reactions you didn't ask for. Some people will stare because they admire your strength. They see someone who has survived things they themselves couldn't handle. They see resilience in your posture, in your silence, in your eyes. They feel inspired without knowing your story. Others will stare because your peace disrupts their instability. Your grounded energy exposes the shakiness of their own. You become a mirror they weren't ready to look into yet. That's why some people get flustered, awkward, or defensive around you with no clear reason. It's not personal, it's energetic. Their spirit is reacting to something their mind hasn't processed. But here's the thing, the more aligned you become, the more noticeable you are. Not because you try to stand out, but because alignment elevates your vibration. People who are not aligned feel it instantly. People who are searching for alignment feel it like a guidepost. And people who fear alignment feel it like pressure. So when you notice people staring, don't shrink. Don't doubt yourself. Don't assume something is wrong. Most of the time, their spirit is responding before their mind even catches up. You are triggering subconscious responses, soul memories, spiritual recognition, and emotional reactions, all without saying a single word. And that is the power of someone who carries awakened energy. You don't have to try. You simply exist, and people feel it. Now that you understand the spiritual layers behind why people watch you so closely, let's shift into how this shows up on the physical and psychological level. Because as much as energy influences everything, the human mind and body respond to that energy in very real, visible ways. When someone carries a calm, grounded, self-aware presence, it disrupts the typical social dynamics most people are used to. Think about how many people walk through the world in survival mode, shoulders tight, mind racing, energy scattered. They move quickly, avoid eye contact, and shrink themselves without even realizing it. Then you show up, moving with quiet strength, not rushed, not frantic, not desperate. And even if you don't feel confident all the time, your natural aura communicates confidence in ways you don't always recognize. Your posture, your silence, your gaze, your stillness, your pace, these things signal something powerful to the subconscious mind of others. Humans are wired to notice anything that breaks the pattern, and your presence breaks patterns everywhere you go. That's a psychological reason people stare. You interrupt the usual flow, you bring a different frequency, you offer a rare sense of composure in a world addicted to chaos. That alone makes people look up. Most people aren't used to someone who's fully present. They're used to people who are half distracted, half anxious, checking their phones every 2 seconds, thinking about something else. But when someone who is grounded walks into the room, Their energy fills the space with clarity. That makes you stand out even before you speak. Your stillness acts like a signal that draws attention. And because people aren't used to that level of presence, they stare to try to understand it. Your authenticity is another major factor. We live in a time when so many people perform for attention without even realizing they're doing it. They speak loudly to be heard. They dress to be noticed. They exaggerate to be validated. You, on the other hand, don't need to perform. Your presence feels natural, honest, unfiltered, and authenticity is magnetic. When someone sees a person who doesn't seem to be seeking approval, it creates an instant curiosity. How are they so comfortable being themselves? Why do they feel so calm? What do they know that I don't? That curiosity pulls their eyes toward you again and again. Another huge factor is your eye contact. You've probably noticed this your entire life. When you look at people, you don't just glance, you connect. Not intentionally, not aggressively, but naturally. Your eyes carry depth. They carry awareness. They carry a sense of truth that most people aren't accustomed to. Many people look away quickly because your gaze feels like it sees through them instead of just at them. Eye contact from an awakened person hits differently. It feels more direct, more honest, more grounded. And because most people avoid genuine eye contact out of insecurity, when someone like you holds it, even for a moment, it's disarming. It makes them stare because they feel something they can't explain, something that makes them want to understand you or understand themselves better. Physically speaking, your energy also shows up in your face. People with aligned or awakened energy often have expressive eyes, calm facial features, or a certain glow even on their worst days. There's something about your expression, soft yet strong, peaceful yet intentional, that leaves an impression. It's not about symmetrical beauty, it's about presence. Your face reflects what your spirit carries, and humans are naturally drawn to faces that communicate emotional intelligence, compassion, depth, or resilience. Even the tone of your voice plays a role, whether it's calm, intentional, warm, or simply different from the usual rushed tone people speak in. Your voice becomes memorable. People are drawn to sounds that convey authenticity. Even the way you pause before speaking or the way you articulate certain thoughts makes people listen more closely. That attention translates visually. They stare because they feel pulled in. The subconscious mind also plays a huge role. People constantly scan their environment for signals of safety, strength, or familiarity. You give off all three. Your energy feels safe to some people because it's grounded and steady. It feels strong because it doesn't bend to the chaotic energy around it. And it feels familiar because your presence reminds people of the grounded version of themselves they wish they could reconnect with. Their subconscious picks up on all of this before they consciously register it, which is why they stare without even realizing they're doing it. On the flip side, some people stare because they feel challenged by you, not in a competitive way, but in a self-reflective way. Your presence forces them to notice their own unease, their own lack of grounding, their own disconnection. You become a walking reminder of everything they wish they could embody: confidence, peace, authenticity, self-respect. And when something challenges us, we look at it. We try to decode it. We try to understand it. That's why people keep glancing at you even when you're not looking. Projection is another psychological component. People don't just see you, they see the version of you that their mind wants to see. Someone who feels lonely might stare at you because your presence reminds them of connection. Someone who feels insecure may stare because your confidence highlights their lack of it. Someone who feels lost may stare because your clarity exposes their confusion. Someone who feels inspired might stare because they sense something in you they hope to find in themselves. You become a mirror, and mirrors attract attention because they reveal truth. And truth always gets noticed. Your physical presence also communicates boundaries. Even without saying a word, people can sense that you're not someone who tolerates disrespect or games. Your energy communicates self-respect, and people stare because clear boundaries are rare, especially in public spaces where most people shrink, apologize, or avoid confrontation. You don't need to puff yourself up or act dominant. Your energy does the work for you. That level of self-possession is enough to make people pay attention. There's also something to be said about your vibe. You are detached from the noise in a world where noise is the norm. You don't chase attention. You don't chase validation. You don't chase reactions. And the paradox is that this very detachment makes people more drawn to you. When someone isn't trying to be seen, but they still stand out, the mind naturally becomes curious. It wonders what makes you different. It wonders why your energy feels rare. It wonders who you are beneath the surface. All of these psychological and physical factors intertwine with the spiritual ones, creating a presence that captivates people whether you intend to or not. You walk into a room as a full, aligned, grounded being in a world that's often fragmented. And people stare because your presence feels different, refreshing for some, intimidating for others, awakening for many. Now that you understand the psychological and physical layers behind the attention you receive, it's time to explore something even more subtle and often overlooked: the different types of stares people give you, and what each of those looks actually means. Because once you begin to pay attention, you'll notice that not all glances are created equal. Some carry warmth, some carry envy, some carry confusion, and some carry a haunting sense of recognition that sends chills down your spine. When you walk in a higher vibration, people don't just look at you, they respond to you. Their eyes tell you exactly what's happening within them, even when their words never do. And reading these stares isn't about ego or trying to feel superior. It's about awareness, understanding the energetic conversations happening around you so you can move through the world with more clarity, confidence, and protection. Let's start with the most common: the curious stare. This is the look people give you when something about you feels different, but they can't quite put their finger on what it is. Their eyes linger, soften, tilt slightly like they're trying to decode a message hidden in your aura. These are people who sense your energy but don't know how to interpret it. Maybe they feel like they've met you before. Maybe something about you feels familiar, comforting, or strangely significant. Their conscious mind is confused, but their spirit is paying attention. Don't be surprised if these people keep glancing back at you. Your energy disrupts their autopilot mode, and now their mind is trying to catch up to the feeling you caused. Next is the intimidated stare, which is a very distinct energy. You've seen this one before. Someone looks at you, looks away quickly, then peeks again with a hint of discomfort. They're not afraid of you. They're afraid of what they feel around you. Your presence exposes the parts of them they try to hide: the insecurity, the self-doubt, the lack of inner grounding. You didn't say a word, but something about your energy feels too honest for them, too real. It's like standing in bright sunlight after being in the dark for too long, eye-opening but uncomfortable. Don't take this stare personally. It's not judgment. It's a reaction to their own inner instability in the presence of someone who carries alignment. Then we have the envious stare, sharp and quick, sometimes even paired with a subtle frown or tension around the mouth. These are the people who feel threatened by your presence because deep down they wish they had what you have: your peace, your authenticity, your confidence, your self-respect. They stare not out of admiration, but out of comparison. The irony is that they're comparing themselves to a version of you they've imagined, not the reality of your journey. They see your glow, but not the battles you fought to earn it. The envious stare can be cold, judgmental, or distant. Your job isn't to fix it, just recognize it for what it is and protect your energy accordingly. One of the most profound and emotionally charged stares you'll ever encounter is the recognizing stare. You'll know this one instantly. Someone locks eyes with you, and for a moment, it's like time slows. Their eyes widen, not with fear, but with familiarity. It's the look people give when their soul remembers yours, even though their mind doesn't. These moments feel surreal. You may feel a sudden warmth, a softness in your chest, or an unexplainable sense of connection. Sometimes these people become important in your life. Sometimes they're passing souls who simply crossed paths with you once before, in a dream, in another version of life, or in a moment your spirit remembers even if you don't. This is the rarest stare, and when it happens, you'll feel it in your spirit, not your mind. There's also the spiritually triggered stare, a look that carries discomfort, tension, or even hostility. These people aren't reacting to you. They're reacting to the energy within them that gets disturbed by your light. When someone is carrying emotional heaviness, unresolved trauma, or spiritual attachments, they may feel unsettled in your presence. They don't understand why they're reacting this way, but their energy does. Your presence shakes the shadows they've been living with, and those shadows don't like the vibration you bring. You'll notice their stare feels almost resistant, like they're trying to protect themselves from you. Trust your intuition with this one. It's usually a sign to keep your distance. Then we have the longing stare, a gentle, almost admiring look from people who feel drawn to your energy because it awakens something they've forgotten. They might not know you, but something about your presence reminds them of peace, joy, passion, or clarity they once felt but lost along the way. Their eyes soften when they look at you. They're not staring to judge or question. You make them feel something. Inspiration, hope, possibility. Your presence becomes a reminder of who they could be if they return to themselves. The confused stare is another common one. These people don't understand how someone can radiate so much presence while doing so little. You're not being flashy, you're not seeking attention, you're simply being, and that alone is enough to disrupt their expectations. They study you, trying to categorize you, trying to fit you into a box that doesn't exist. You confuse their logic because you carry a depth they're not equipped to process instantly. And yes, you'll occasionally encounter the attraction stare, not just romantic attraction, but magnetic attraction. When your spirit is aligned, your physical presence becomes more appealing. People feel drawn to your authenticity because it's rare. Attraction, in your case, goes beyond looks. It's energetic. It's soulful. It's the kind of pull that makes people stare without realizing they're staring. Lastly, there's the empty stare, the one that feels eerie or unsettling because it's not really the person looking at you. It's something behind them, through them, or around them. This stare feels hollow, disconnected, almost unnatural. Trust your intuition. When something feels off, don't second-guess yourself. Protect your energy, cleanse yourself afterward, and move away from the situation. Once you start noticing these different stares, everything begins to make sense. People aren't just looking at you, they're responding to the frequency you carry. Some are guided by curiosity, others by discomfort, others by memory, and some by inspiration they didn't expect to feel. You are a catalyst. You shift people's inner landscapes just by existing, and their eyes tell the whole story. Now that you understand the deeper layers behind why people stare, the spiritual, psychological, emotional, and energetic reasons, it's time to talk about something that might hit even closer to home. What happens when your energy disturbs spirits? And yes, this is where things get intense because chosen ones often experience reactions they can't logically explain. And these reactions usually have nothing to do with the person in front of them and everything to do with what that person is carrying. There are people walking around every day with emotional burdens, spiritual attachments, unresolved trauma, suppressed bitterness, and negative energies clinging to them like shadows. Some of these energies are subtle, some are heavy, and most people don't even realize they're carrying them. But your presence exposes those shadows instantly, not because you're trying to fix anyone, not because you're doing anything dramatic, but because your light activates things. Your energy wakes up what's been sleeping in others. Your spirit applies pressure to anything unhealed. unbalanced, or spiritually unhealthy in the environment. And those energies react. This is why you've seen people shift. The moment you walk into a room, someone who was calm suddenly becomes nervous. Someone who was loud becomes quiet. Someone who was comfortable starts fidgeting or avoiding eye contact. You didn't cause their discomfort. You revealed it. See, your energy isn't neutral. It brings clarity. It brings exposure. It brings truth. And truth is something not everyone is ready for. Some people feel restless around you because the things inside them that thrive in confusion, chaos, or denial can't operate the same way in your presence. It's like you carry a light that forces shadows out of hiding. Even if you're silent, even if you're just sitting there minding your business, the energy you carry does spiritual work all on its own. You become a mirror that makes people confront what they've buried. And this isn't just emotional, it can be spiritual in ways that most people never talk about openly. There are energies in this world that gravitate toward low vibration: fear, conflict, addiction, manipulation, jealousy, insecurity. When someone carries these energies or allows them to influence their life, those forces become comfortable around people who aren't awakened. But around you, around someone who is aligned, spiritually aware, and connected to something higher, those energies get uncomfortable. They get agitated. They get exposed. That's why some people react with hostility for no reason. Why a stranger might glare at you without ever speaking to you. Why someone in your family might seem irritated by your presence even when you're being kind and calm. Their reaction isn't about your personality. It's the spiritual clash happening behind the scenes. And here's the part many chosen ones don't realize. Your peace is a threat. Yes, peace. The thing you fought so hard to achieve. In a world where people are overwhelmed by anxiety, mental noise, emotional chaos, and spiritual confusion, your peace becomes powerful enough to disrupt darkness. Peace has weight. Peace has authority. Peace has spiritual gravity. When someone's inner world is filled with chaos, and you walk in carrying calm, that calm becomes confrontational to the energy they're carrying. This is why low vibration energies try to provoke you. They try to get you to react. They want to pull you out of alignment because your alignment weakens their influence. They'll test your patience, your kindness, your boundaries. Not because the person consciously wants to, but because the energy influencing them is uncomfortable around you. That's why you must remain centered. Don't let anyone force you into a battle beneath your level. Don't lower your vibration just to meet someone in their dysfunction. When someone tries to provoke you, remember, they're not reacting to your personality, they're reacting to your frequency. When you respond with calm instead of chaos, with clarity instead of confusion, with love instead of ego, you disarm whatever energy is trying to manipulate the atmosphere. That's spiritual authority in action. And whether you realize it or not, you've been walking in that authority your entire life. You may have also noticed people suddenly leaving your life without explanation. Friends who drift away, co-workers who avoid you, relatives who grow distant. On the surface, it might feel like rejection, but spiritually, it's protection. Your elevation exposes the energies they've been hiding behind. And not everyone can stay connected to you while holding on to their shadows. Some people don't actually dislike you. They dislike how awakened you are. They dislike how honest your presence feels. They dislike how their spirit feels when yours enters the room. And they withdraw because it's easier to avoid your light than to confront their darkness. That's not your burden to carry. Let them go. You will also encounter people who cling to you. People who are drawn to your warmth, your understanding, your clarity, your kindness. But not all who cling are meant to stay. Some are drawn to you because you are a source of spiritual grounding they don't know how to create for themselves. They take from your energy without giving anything back. They drain you without meaning to. They love your light, but they never choose to build their own. These attachments can feel intense, emotional, even spiritual, but they're not always healthy. Many chosen ones have experienced this. Someone enters your life with intensity, passion, vulnerability, and suddenly you feel confused, exhausted, spiritually scattered. That's not connection, that's energetic entanglement. Some people attach themselves to your light out of fear of facing their own darkness. And if you're not careful, they can drain your energy without ever realizing the weight they're placing on your spirit. But this doesn't mean you're powerless. In fact, you're the opposite. Every time you choose alignment over chaos, every time you ground yourself, every time you protect your peace, every time you set boundaries, you weaken any energy that tries to pull you down. You are stronger than the shadows around you. Your presence alone can shift the atmosphere of a room. Your energy alone can bring clarity where there is confusion. And this is exactly why you must treat your spirit with care. Cleanse your energy regularly. Rest, pray, meditate, release what isn't yours, because the world will continue to respond to your light, and you must stay aligned enough to carry it. Now that you understand how your energy exposes, awakens, and even disturbs what's hidden in other people, it's time to reveal one of the most misunderstood truths about your journey. You were built for a different level of existence, and your spirit has been trained, often through pain, to carry a frequency that not everyone can handle. This is why your path has felt heavier than most people's. This is why you've been placed in situations that forced you to grow faster, deeper, and more consciously than your environment. You weren't being punished. You were being prepared. Your struggles weren't random. They were initiations. And whether you realize it yet or not, your spirit has been shaped into something rare, something powerful, something that can't be easily shaken. The reason people stare at you, react to you, or get unexplainably drawn to you is because you carry the result of spiritual training most people never go through. You have a presence that was forged instead of inherited, and people can feel that, even before you fully understand it. Your sensitivity, your intuition, your emotional depth, these weren't weaknesses, they were tools. Tools you had to grow into, tools you had to learn to use, tools that carved you into someone capable of seeing the world clearly. Most people live on the surface. You don't. You've been pushed deeper over and over again until depth became your natural state of being. That depth is part of your aura. It's part of your presence. It's why people stare. They can sense there's more to you than what they see. They can sense layers they don't understand. They feel the intelligence in your silence. They feel the strength behind your softness. They feel the history in your eyes, even if they don't know your story. This is also why you've always felt different, even as a child. You noticed things others ignored. You felt things others brushed off. You saw the truth behind people's behaviors long before you had the words to explain it. And because of that, you likely grew up feeling out of place, misunderstood, or misinterpreted. You weren't meant to blend in. You were meant to see what others couldn't. You were meant to feel what others avoided. That level of awareness becomes energy, and that energy becomes an aura that makes people stare, pause, and sometimes even question themselves when they look at you. Your spirit communicates things before your voice does. But here's the part most people don't talk about. Your spirit has weight. The things you've survived gave you a kind of gravity, a seriousness, a presence, a depth that others sense immediately. You've walked through experiences that stripped you down and rebuilt you from the inside out. You've faced emotional storms that would have broken someone else. And because of that, your spirit carries the strength of someone who has met darkness and learned how to bring their own light into it. That light isn't loud, it's not flashy, it's steady, it's rooted, it's ancient. People feel that stability when they're around you. They feel your resilience without you saying a word. They stare because your energy feels grounded in a world where most people feel lost or disconnected from themselves. Your presence also reveals something many people avoid: authenticity. When someone who's real shows up, It exposes how much pretending other people are doing. You aren't trying to impress anyone. You aren't trying to compete. You don't need validation to feel like yourself. That level of self-possession is rare, and rare things attract attention. Even if someone can't articulate it, they feel the difference between someone who is performing and someone who is simply existing in their truth. Your truth makes people stare, not because they're judging you, but because they're studying you, trying to understand how someone can move with such honesty in a world that rewards imitation. Another reason you draw attention is because your energy is balanced in ways most people haven't mastered yet. You carry masculine and feminine energies that complement each other rather than clash. Your confidence isn't aggressive. Your softness isn't weakness. Your strength doesn't need to be loud. Your sensitivity doesn't make you fragile. You embody a harmony most people haven't achieved, and their spirits recognize that balance even if their minds don't. When people stare at you, they're often responding to a sense of wholeness within you, something they're still searching for within themselves. There's also a very real, very physical reason you get so much attention. Your nervous system is regulated in a way that makes people feel safe, seen, or exposed. You don't give off frantic, desperate, unstable energy. You give off presence, calmness, awareness. And because so many people live with anxiety, emotional chaos, and suppressed inner turmoil, your groundedness interrupts their normal patterns. It's like their body doesn't know how to react to someone who isn't vibrating with stress or insecurity. Your presence gives their nervous system a signal it rarely encounters. You are safe here. For some people, that feels soothing. For others, it feels unfamiliar and therefore uncomfortable. But either way, it gets noticed. And finally, let's speak on something you've felt but never fully understood. People sense your destiny before you do. They sense that you're meant for more. They don't know why they feel it, but they do. And some will stare at you with admiration because they feel inspired by you. Some will stare with envy because your potential triggers their insecurity. Some will stare with awe because your energy feels elevated in a way they can't explain. And some will stare because they sense something in you that hasn't manifested yet, something powerful, something purposeful, something bigger than the life you're currently living. This is why your presence shifts rooms. This is why people treat you differently without knowing why. This is why strangers pause when you walk by. They're not responding to your looks, your clothes, or your behavior. They're responding to the weight of, your spirit, the history written in your energy, and the destiny vibrating within your presence.